Good morning, and will you please introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Daniel Mart. I'm back again for the festival, and this time around, I'm happy to introduce two films. Actually, I have this time around Quince, which is a slasher movie similar to Halloween and Scream. So that's Quince, and then The Date, which I took a lot of inspiration from Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And yeah, those are the two films I have for the festival this year around.
Daniel, thank you so much for being here. And also, yeah, I want you to talk more about these films because you're clearly exploring some darkness, Daniel. You're exploring some darkness, and I want you to talk about the inspirations and your filmmaking and what you've been working on. While I pour myself a cup of tea, I want you to tell me everything.
So yeah, let me just start off with Quince. So basically, I did that as part of a larger project with a bunch of other fellow filmmakers, which was Matthew Mark Hunter, who's based out of right outside Columbus, Ohio. He wanted to do this project, which is called Deadly Numbers, and basically it's an anthology horror film. And he got 20 different filmmakers, or well, 19, because he also did one of the films himself. And he got 19 different filmmakers, and he gave us each a number. I got number 15, and we had to base a horror film based off of that. And Quince means 15 in Spanish. And basically for that, I've always wanted to do a slasher, and for the for this larger project, each film had to be at around 10 minutes, give or take. And basically, my thought process as well, I've always wanted to do a slasher. Quince, it's 15 in Spanish, just call the killer Quince because he kills on the 15th day of the month, and just kind of go from there. And it's inspired by Halloween and Scream. It's a basic classic slasher, and I did it with a bunch of friends. Chloe Stringhammer, Melissa Almanza, Darian Louis I, Jace Elton, and Angel Padilla. And me. I also have my role in there, and Charles Ace. He was the killer. And yeah, we just basically had fun. We did it across basically 2 weekends, back a couple years ago at this point. And yeah, that was really fun. So that's Quince. And it's been doing its film festival run. It's gotten its awards and all that good stuff. And now we're here. And then for The Date, also funny enough, with Matthew Mark Hunter, it was another anthology film called Tapes from the Underground.
Yeah.
And for that one, there wasn't a time limit. He just said, "Hey, the concept for this is that the overarching theme for this film is that the guy he's digging around and he finds a bunch of tapes underground from the underground, and these are all a bunch of like these weird films and videos and whatever that make him go slowly insane with every passing film that he watches. And I went with that and ran, and it turns out I actually did the longest film out of the whole bunch, which was at 20 minutes, slightly less than that. And so, yeah, I think we didn't have a time limit, and that one was very much inspired by Psycho, in the sense that you have this normal-looking guy, and you don't think anything weird from him. You don't think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bit awkward, but that's really about it. And throughout the course of the film, you see how dark this character really is, and how I don't want to let the twist out right now. What happens at the end, but you know one thing leads to another, and turns out he's not that nice of a guy at the end of the day. It's called then it's called A Date, so he's going out with this girl, and again, like I said, one thing leads to another, and she has to basically figure out how to escape.
Awesome. I'm so interested in not just the films, but tell me more about how you're connecting to these other creators for these anthologies. It's really exciting.
So yeah, basically with Matthew Mark Hunter, we go back to a film, another anthology film we did back in 2020 and during the COVID days. There's this other guy, I forget his name right now. I forget the guy who did the overall project. It was basically the concept for that film was a bunch of filmmakers, contacted him and said, "Hey, you're going to be a part of this film. This is the concept," and it was you select a year from like 1960 to like from 1960 to 2020. You select a year and you have to recreate a scene from a movie from that year. And I chose originally I chose what was it? It's the Devon Sawa Idle Hands. Originally I chose Idle Hands, and for whatever reason I just didn't have the time to really do it because of how I wanted to do it, and I was running out of time. So I went from Idle Hands to The Matrix, which and I did the red pill, blue pill scene, my own version of it, and that film went however it went, and that's how me and Matthew Mark Hunter, that's how we connected because he put on that group chat, hey, I'm doing this film. Again, the numbers and kind of just went on from there, and yeah, our partnership has kind of gone on from there. I've done clips for some of his other projects. He did a Christmas short film series back in Christmas where I did a quick video for that. I did a voiceover role for a project that's still yet to come out. Hopefully, we get some news on about that in the future. But yeah, I've been connected with him, working with him for some time now. So yeah.
So that's exciting. Daniel, we've talked with my previous research, and now I'm working on a new project. Will you talk to me about what success looks like for you as a creator, right? What are some sort of creative career goals that you're working towards, and what they are and what it means for you personally, right? I don't claim to have any definition of what success is. You tell me.
I mean, I guess the generic answer would be like, hey, let me get an Oscar, but I mean, success, I mean, I don't know, that's something, I'll be honest, I've been struggling with in the past year and a half, what success means. Because I've had some personal artistic setbacks in that regard, and I've been struggling with what success means to me, both as me personally and me professionally. And the other thing with that I'm also an actor in my own right, and I'm still trying to figure that out. So to be honest, I don't know how to answer that because I'm still struggling with it. Because again, just with the personal setbacks, I'm still trying to get myself. At the moment, right now, I'm just trying to get myself in a position where I feel comfortable. I think right now, if I can figure that out, that will be success for me. But overall, I don't know yet. So yeah.
No, I think that's a perfectly fair answer, right? Like, I don't believe there is any singular definition of it, right? It's personal for everyone. So I'm very interested in kind of how people are kind of working towards that. And I mean, I see you doing the work, right? I know you're working. So then it's sort of like what are the larger goals you're working towards? And then how do I, like, one of the reasons the question is important to me is then how do we as an arts organization get better at championing you towards your respective creative career goals?
Okay, of course. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you always want to support your fellow filmmakers, your fellow artists at the end of the day. So yeah, that's great.
So then, even understanding that you're still working on your particular definition, your personal definition of success, as you're doing that, are there ways that we can champion you better at present, right? Any tools, resources, things that we can be doing that can help you in your creative career goals?
I mean, if you're using the term you as in like you yourself or you the festival, really just promoting the film and even if it gets nominated, cool. If it wins an award, awesome. But just you doing this festival for everybody who's signed up for it, I think that's enough to just. I mean this in a good way, but that's the bare minimum of doing it. But that's if you mean you as you yourself, you your festival. Now, if you mean you as in the industry at large, right now the industry has a lot to improve right now. I mean, we're on strike. The writers have been on strike for 3-4 months at this point. The actors have been on strike for the past month and a half. And if I'm not mistaken, the actors for video games, voice actors, are about to go on strike, from what I understand. So right now, we're not in that definition of you. We have a lot to improve in order to properly support our writers, actors, voice actors, artists, creatives, whatever. And then the other thing with that is that the thing is, I'm based out of Miami, Florida, South Florida, and again, I mean, granted, what I'm going to say next really depends on where you're based out of. If you're based in Atlanta, it's a completely different animal from like Houston to say Chicago, Miami, whatever. But like down here, I personally don't feel that supported by the industry at large because of just the way it runs. And it doesn't have to even do with like the incentives that we have down here, film incentives, which are like almost not anyways. But it doesn't even have to do with that. It's just that a lot of the focus down here in South Florida doesn't really support Miami filmmakers. It supports more the Broward filmmakers. So think of like Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, West Palm Beach, or well, I mean West Palm Beach is a little bit north of that, but they don't really support Miami filmmakers, and it's really hard for Miami filmmakers to really advance per se, especially if you're just using solely Miami talent. Now, if you start using Broward talent, Fort Lauderdale talent, there's a shift there. But for just solely Miami talent, it's kind of hard to really try to get a name for yourself there. And again, this is just a regional thing. Again, if you're in Atlanta, it's probably different. Again, if you're in LA or Chicago, New York, Houston, whatever, that's probably different. But again, that's just down here. And granted, we do have stuff like Univision y telenovelas, like the Spanish soap operas, but they don't really help. The thing is with them, they don't like working with us to begin with. When I say this as a joke per se, but it's not really that much of a joke. But they would rather hire someone from Mexico, fly them out here to be a cashier number 56 who has like 2 lines than use someone from who's local here. And congratulations to the actor who just got the role, but like you guys are now spending like whatever $2,000 for example just to fly them out here when you could pay someone here $200 just to do the role, and it will literally be the same thing, just different. So yeah, I mean, again, that's more of a regional thing, but still, also, I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, we have the English soap operas, but that's more up north in the West Palm Beach area, so that's about 2 hours away from me. And those do like supporting our local groups, but again, it's more like that Broward, that West Palm Beach, not so much the Miami talent. So I mean, again, at the end of the day, it just comes down to support, and that's really what we need in general. And some people get it more than others, and so the ones who don't just need to figure it out, sadly. And yeah, just go from there.
No, I thank you so much for sharing. The regional conversations are so important, right? I know a number of people who are working on initiatives that are specific to how to improve regional support in the industry.
I mean, like, here's the thing. Right now, there's a group. I'm not going to call them out yet because what they're doing, it is good. But I also think they're falling into that trap of we're focusing on South Florida, but they're mostly focusing on Broward, West Palm Beach. They're not focusing on Miami. And I don't want to call them out mostly because I think what they're going to do is great, but I just need them to open their eyes a bit more. And not to be arrogant, not to be cocky, but I'm one of the few Miami-based talents that it's actually notable down here. There's like very few of us. Again, the majority of it, the bulk of it's that Broward, West Palm Beach. Again, there are some Miami talents, and I want to say I'm fortunate enough to be one of the more notable ones from Miami, especially with all the work I've been doing. And again, I know my general standing in the industry as well. But again, I like what they're doing, but again, they're following that train, that side of we want to help filmmakers, but only if you're in Broward, only if you're in Fort Lauderdale, only if you're in West Palm Beach. They had a meeting, I want to say a month and a half ago, I don't remember right now, a networking event, and they were saying all these things about incentives, and a lot of it was like, if you're a Broward filmmaker, you could do this. If you're based out of Fort Lauderdale, like, you could do that. And yeah, I mean, I was very disappointed. And expressed that to one of my friends who was there, and she didn't seem to understand where I was coming from because she was like, "But they're bringing incentives." I'm like, "I understand that, but they're bringing incentives to Broward, not to Miami, and we're only like, at minimum, we're maybe about 50 minutes away. We just have to cross Aventura, which is like a neighborhood or an area here. All I have to do is cross Aventura. Once you cross the highway that splits Aventura which is from Miami-Dade to Broward County, that's it. It's literally like 10, 15 minutes away at most from that divide. And you guys still don't really want to help us. But again, right now they are trying to do more events within Miami, but we'll see how that goes. Again, the thing is, they're just starting off because again, we're still recovering from COVID. And because of COVID, the whole industry also shifted to a certain degree. There's new people in power and all that stuff. So they're still figuring that out. But like, I'm optimistic, but I also know the realities of how this will probably go down, seeing just previous patterns.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I do hope it gets better, right? Like like you said, there are a lot of transitions. There's a lot of things changing. There's a lot of things happening. So there will be another side to those, and let's, I want to be cautiously optimistic, right?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah. Daniel, can you tell me about what you're working on next?
Yeah. Right now, currently um, I'm helping producing. I've helped produce, better said, two films. One of them is called Loose Ends, and one of them is called The Mechanic. And they're both Loose Ends has just started its film festival run, and The Mechanic will be starting its film festival run within about a month once the final edit is finally completed. So I've been, and I did have an acting. I was an actor for both of those projects as well, but on the producing side, that's what I've been working on. I'm just pumping those out into film festivals at the moment. And then as for the directing, the creative side, I'm currently working on this short film. It's on pre-production. It's called Captive, and it's basically about this man who kidnaps this other guy because the other guy wronged him in the past. But the thing is that the guy he kidnapped, he doesn't know why he's being kidnapped. He doesn't know who this guy is. He doesn't know how he wronged him. So I don't want to reveal too much for when it comes out. Who knows? Maybe I'll submit it here and we get another interview. But but yeah, no, that's what I'm working on right now. We're still doing the casting for it. We are doing the callbacks. Well, we're trying to figure out when callbacks can be done between me and the producer Alejo Vega, and we're just still trying to figure some of that stuff out. So that's what I'm doing on the film side. Um, yeah, I don't believe I have anything else. Yeah, that's basically it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Daniel. I'm always so grateful for your time and for your work. And so I'm excited for you to keep going and tell me about your next project and what you're working on. And then hopefully we can have more, hopefully there are more positive steps as well as far as like larger industry support for you. So I'm excited to hear what's next. And I'm grateful for your time always.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Daniel. I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Same here.
All right.